Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Leach, back here with another reaction video. Make sure y'all hit that sub button, turn them noties on, and make sure y'all follow the socials on the screen. Be much appreciated. I give thanks to the man above for another day. God bless. I love y'all, man. And yeah, let's get right into it. We got a good one today. College football transfer portal. QBs determined to have the biggest impact with their new teams.
Comes to the transfer portal rankings, especially.
And by the way, yeah, Hudson Longstreet.
In my opinion,
I didn't think he was going to do it. He went to LSU.
Direct commitments haven't yet been made.
Tennessee and Miami,
official, but on this list, a lot of them have been committed. Top
but he does have a lot of
signal callers, headlined by Sam Levitt, who left Arizona State
4 years, so it kind of makes sense to be on Sam Levitt.
So we're back with the cover three guys to talk about some of these portal additions, specifically the quarterbacks. And before we get to that now, crowded room in Baton Rouge, Chip. Sam Levitt from ASU to LSU. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that this is a great way to stabilize a quarterback room that really, behind Garrett Nussmeier, was so bleak that you didn't even get a chance to let Garrett Nussmeier spend some time on the sideline when things were kind of falling apart for LSU's offense this year. Because you've got Sam Levitt, and then you've also been able potentially to add another piece behind him. And Levitt is, in my opinion, a very, very good fit for a Lane Kiffin offense. He's got a ton of athletic tools.
I expect LSU, bro. I expect him to be in the national championship next year, bro. I'm gonna say like that, bro.
That the same kind of success that Trinidad Chambliss or Jackson Dart,
but a lot can happen. You know, injuries are part of the game, so you have that.
To show a little creativity and take things into his own hands. Sam Levitt
LSU
can go and do that, and so I think that for LSU, this is a great way to give yourself a one-year option. The more work that they have been doing, as you mentioned, in terms of the rest of the quarterback room, that allows them to have some security for.
And Sam Levitt uses his legs too, bro. Like, that's something Nussmeier really didn't do, bro. He's just kind of a pocket passer.
In fact, clearly Lane Kiffin felt the fit was perfect, considering how desperate LSU was going after Levitt with Lane chasing him through
Garrett Nussmeier was
airports like a romantic comedy. But I do think that, you know, physically, talent-wise, arm-wise, his ability to run and extend plays, just everything that Lane Kiffin quarterbacks have always done in that offense and what he has looked for.
But for them to get a dual threat in Sam Levitt,
it felt like a logical destination to me for where he would end up. So I am not shocked at all that he's going to be with the Tigers. And I also think that Lane adding Houston Longstreet is kind of like the backup, younger kind of kid to learn behind.
Yeah, you got Longstreet
is a good deal for the Tigers going down the path as far as long term. But what's concerning to me about LSU's transfer class right now is a whole lot of skill players. They've got two quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. The problem with that
next year goes by, they have Longstreet, bro. LSU's in good hands, bro. Like,
I hope the internal options are good, because if they're not,
they're gonna be straight, bro.
Things will look much better next year than they did this year.
Just along those lines, Chip, with Longstreet, as Tom had mentioned. So do you like?
I really like Levitt going to LSU. Same with Longstreet, bro.
I think it's good for both of them. I think still has 4 years of eligibility left.
Especially for Longstreet, his future, bro.
Yeah, it's the stability at the position. We got a good nugget from our colleague Bud Elliott on this morning's Cover 3 podcast that the 2027 quarterback class includes a great prospect in the state of Louisiana, but because Brian Kelly and the high school recruiting outfit there wasn't exactly on top of it, LSU was not top of mind. So now you've at least given yourself not just a great answer for Lane Kiffin year one, but also a player in Longstreet, very, very high ceiling. You can develop him in the system, and you can give him the opportunity to be able to take over for 27 and 28, because remember, Lane, you got 26, 27, like, 28, and 29. In Baton Rouge, you get 4 years to win a national title.
Went back to back I don't know,
well, then they're going to turn up the pressure. So if Levitt and Longstreet, you at least give yourself a majority of that 4-year window.
You get Sam Levitt. Now you got Longstreet, who's going to be in there after him, bro.
From Cincy to Texas Tech.
LSU, it would be scary
from Baron Morton, same as Baron Morton.
Brendan Sorsby, my guy, bro.
Sorsby move here.
Oh, I think it's very much an upgrade. You remember like listening to bands when you were a teenager, and then you knew about them, and then everybody else would catch on, and it kind of made you angry that everybody else suddenly realized that this band is good. That's how I feel about Brendan Sorsby, because it was 3 years ago while he was still the backup at Indiana, and he came in. How I feel about Brendan Sorsby, because it was 3
yards per game, 233.3, pass the TDI and T 27 to 5, and then pass efficiency 155.1. Like,
years ago while he was still the backup.
But it's not all on
Sorsby.
He
came in to replace Taven Jackson, and I watched him play. I first thought, hey, this kid's pretty dang good. And then the next thing you know, Kurt Signetti's coming in. He brings in Curtis Rourke from Ohio, sends Sorsby back, and he ends in Cincinnati. And now here we are 2 years later. Sorsby is making his way to Texas Tech.
I'm telling you this right now, bro. Texas Tech will be a legitimate playoff.
This is a kid who has developed each of the last few seasons. He's not what you would consider an incredible passer. He's not an elite thrower of the football, but he's a hell of a college football quarterback, and that he can make most throws that are asked of him. But he's also very special with his legs as far as extending plays, and also being able to use him in the run game. That is something that I think Texas Tech was sorely missing. Just like Sam Levitt, he's dual threat, but I feel like Sorsby's better with his feet. Throughout his career that just kind of sapped him of any mobility that he had. So he was kind of a standing target in the pocket for opposing defenses to go after. It's much easier to defend a team when you know where the quarterback's going to be all the time. So I think next year Sorsby will bring a dynamism to this offense that they lacked in 2025. It will help probably make up for a defense that isn't likely to be as good as it was this year. I think Texas Tech's offense will make up for it next year.
Yeah, if Brendan Sorsby's the quarterback for the Red Raiders, they at least score a touchdown against Oregon in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean, the ability to move the pocket,
that Orange Bowl game,
the ability
to
make plays with your feet, better arm strength in my estimation. You saw 36 total touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He doesn't have as many turnovers. He doesn't put the ball in danger's way. This was a Texas Tech offense that really was. They'd get a lot of reps. And because the defense gave them so many field position advantages,
but I'm not mad at Sorsby for leaving, though, bro. I understand,
an explosive
bro.
Play. That's the exact opposite of what Brendan Sorsby did. Is he was really leading the way
bag,
and at times dragging the rest of that Cincinnati offense. I think that he is going to see even an enhancement in his production, in his profile, playing with the rest of this Texas Tech team. And while I agree with Tom that he is not going to be having the same benefits of the Texas Tech defense that we saw this past season, I still think it will be one of the best defenses in the Big 12. So Sorsby could be setting himself up for a very interesting year, being the quarterback of the heavy favorite in the Big 12, a college football playoff contender.
Yeah, Texas Tech might win a Big 12,
some of his own individual accolades start to get a little bit more crystal clear.
I'm pretty sure they won it this year, right?
As we go into 2026.
Yeah, we saw Joey McGuire also have Will Hammond, who was the hero at Utah, but he tore his ACL, but they did have Morton come back there for the rest of this past season. Tom, this one's just for you. Drew Westamaker following his head coach Eric Morris from North Texas to Oklahoma State,
they beat by BYU 34-7, bro.
Competition, Stillwater, the new league. What do we think about this QB?
Drew Mestamaker, bro. Yeah,
I like Mestamaker quite a bit. I think that obviously
Oklahoma State, bro, they got
offense,
a nice
this helps kind of transition where you have a guy in there. You don't have to teach him everything. He already knows what he's going to be doing. You've got a lot of new players coming in. Oklahoma State has brought in more transfers than any other program in the country to this point. I think last I checked this morning, the number was 41 players. That's quite a bit. So it's a lot of new faces. Some of them are coming from North Texas. But to get a guy who had the kind of season that he had for the North Texas this season to come in, maybe bring some stability, help be the leader on that offense, get everybody acclimated to what they're going to be doing. It's a big deal for the Cowboys. I think he's got a good season.
Chip, DJ Lagway, Baylor.
They'll be a
DJ Lagway
underrated team for sure next year. I don't know how well they'll do, but
be able to get everything dialed
DJ Lagway to Baylor, I feel like
be able to settle back into that opportunity to hit his projections.
Obviously,
and his ceiling
because
4-8, DJ Lagway, because he spent so much of the off season not being fully healthy, because he didn't get comfortable with his new wide receivers, the mechanics, the chemistry, all of it was bad, and that's what we saw with all the turnovers this past season with Florida. Obviously, he's got the family connection with his dad in terms of going to Baylor, but I
expect DJ Lagway to really put on
a lot of this needs to be the work that happens, not necessarily July and August, but between now and July. If he really commits himself, he could be in for a big bounce back season in Waco.
Yeah, I think he's going to bounce
just a little bit, but we're going to give ample time for both of you guys to talk about what's happening in Eugene right now, because earlier this afternoon, Dante Moore says he's foregoing the draft. He's coming back
Dante
to school.
Moore came back. Make sure you go check that video out.
The Oregon Ducks. However, Dylan
Raiola
coming from Nebraska as well. So, Tom, I'm going to give you first word. We've kind of seen this before, right? I was telling Katie this when Bo Nix left. Dylan Gabriel, Dante Moore, now Dante Moore with Dylan Raiola.
But it's good for Raiola to learn from Moore.
Yeah, first of all, I'm shocked that Dante Moore is coming back. Typically, you don't see guys who are projected to go that early in the NFL draft pass up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro, because the 2027 QB class, bro, like, it's really deep. Like,
in college for another year, but that speaks both to NIL and what they can do for you, and also the fact that Dante Moore clearly thinks that he's got a lot of growing left to do and wants to do it at college where he knows he's going to get a chance to then try again in the NFL later. So I think it's great news for Oregon that Dante Moore's coming back. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the country. As far as Raiola, it's an odd situation, but Raiola said when he signed that if he has to back up Dante Moore for a year, he will back up Dante Moore for a year, and it makes you wonder, he did suffer that pretty severe ankle injury that cost him the back half of the season at Nebraska this year, so maybe Raiola feels like ankle injury that cost him the back half of the season at Nebraska this year, so maybe Raiola feels like he gets an extra year to kind of recover, get fully healthy, learn the offense, and develop and get ready to play. It's just, you can't help but think that a program like Miami that to this point has kind of swung and missed on the transfer quarterback market, you do wonder if they're going to fire the money cannon in Eugene's direction to see if they can't force Raiola to change his mind or get him out of that deal, because after all, it wouldn't be the first time Miami convinced a kid who had already signed with a Big Ten team to leave and then had to go to court because of it.
First of all, this is a huge win for the Ducks. I think that when you look at what I was going to consider them for next season with Dylan Raiola versus what I consider them now with Dante Moore as their QB1, I think the ceiling is remarkably higher. I mean, it's just, I've seen more from Dante Moore against the best opponents in the Big Ten, against some of the similar opponents than what Dylan Raiola had. Now, did Dante Moore have a better supporting cast than Dylan Raiola?
Yeah, yes, bro. He was on Nebraska,
so.
bro.
But with Dante Moore coming back to Oregon, I'm thinking about Oregon as a national title team. With Dylan Raiola as Oregon's quarterback, I was thinking about Oregon like a college football playoff team. The Ducks team with Dante Moore back can win the Big Ten. They can win the national title.
Yeah, exactly, now, bro. But too bad they're not, bro.
I
got my Ohio State Buckeyes.
Maybe there's another change for Dylan Raiola, because as Tom actually mentioned earlier this week on the Cover 3 podcast, Dylan moved around a lot in high school too. So if we start to see a situation,
bro, imagine Raiola actually leave Oregon though.
Up, maybe Oregon is able to.
Oh no, but didn't he say that he was going to stay there, whether
that would not
Dante
surprise
Moore's
me
decision,
given his own
like,
transactional history. But I think the big
bro.
headline for me
I wouldn't
here
be surprised
is that Dante
Moore
being back at Oregon dramatically changes Oregon's ceiling in the college football playoff by 2 rounds minimum.
Great stuff, guys, from Chip Patterson and Tom Fornelli. And that is really great timing, Chip, because as we promote Cover 3 Podcast one more time, your fellow co-host, Danny Connect, Cover 3 Podcast.
But that's going to do it for this video. They went over every transfer QB and determined, who will have the biggest impact with their new teams. Obviously, Raiola probably not going to play next year, bro. But you never know. Injuries happen. No, not saying Dante Moore will get hurt, but you never know. But yeah, Raiola's just going to have to back up more, which is good. He'll learn from him, bro. And in 2027, he'll be the guy. Hopefully, if everything goes to plan over there at Oregon. But, yeah, let me know in the comment section down below, who is your favorite, QB, that transferred. Who do you think will break out next year, QB-wise? I'd love to know. But, yeah, make sure y'all follow the socials on screen. Much appreciate it. I love y'all. Peace.